This video is brought to you by REP Gaming Products. Help protect your deck and support the show by picking up a steel deck box from the link down below. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Much Abrew About Nothing. So last week, during our instant deck techs, we had a bit of a shocker actually. Our legacy option, the budget-friendly Black Lake deck, came out on top, which means this week we're playing a format we don't play all that often. That is a legacy format, so hopefully we can win some games, slam some Grave Titans, some Massacre Wurm, some Wurmcoil Engines, all the crazy stuff, with the help of tons of mana from Lake of the Dead. So, like usual, gonna do a super quick deck tech. I think I'm gonna start calling it 2-minute deck tech, because that's more about right with the time frame. If you want to see a in-depth breakdown of the deck, make sure to check out the instant deck tech, link down in the description box below. Anyway, let's talk Black Lake in Legacy, and then we'll get to the gameplay video. So Black Lake is built around Lake of the Dead, a very painful land, makes a sack a swamp when it enters the battlefield, but then it gives us the ability to sack a swamp to add 4 mana, so it can produce a ton of mana. If we go Swamp Swamp Lake of the Dead, we can make 6 mana on turn number 3, which lets us play some really powerful things by sacking our lands. Cabal Coffers is a backup, we have Phyrexian Obliterator as kind of our early game threat, then we have the parade of 6 drops. Grave Titan, Massacre Wurm can come down on turn 3. Grave Titan, our primary finisher. Massacre Wurm for go-wide matchups. Batterskull and Wurmcoil Engine give us some other big threats that also gain us life to keep us in the game. We have a Grizzlebrand at the top end of our curve, not coming down on turn 3, but maybe turn 4, turn 5, somewhere in that range, drawing us a bunch of cards. Pack Rat for the early game, giving us another line of attack. Can also let us discard cards to reanimate to Liliana Death's Majesty. Legacy staple, apparently, Liliana Death's Majesty. Spell-wise, we can drain life our opponent like it's 1993, try to just drain our opponent out of the game with all of our mana from our Lake of the Dead. A bunch of discard, including Hymn to Turok, some removal and Fatal Push and Toxic Deluge, Night's Whisper to keep churning through our deck. As far as the sideboard, Winter Orb to lock down lands works well with Lake of the Dead, so we can untap a land that makes 4 mana. A bunch of edict effects, some more creatures, some Graveyard Hate, Pithing Needle, Null Rod for artifacts, and that is Black Lake for Legacy, and that's our Much Abrew deck for this week. So let's get to the gameplay video, see how this deck works, see if it can actually compete. Thank you for watching, enjoy the gameplay, and I'll be back with a wrap-up. Alright, Much Abrew time. Playing some Black Lake in Legacy, and alright, this is fine. Turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Night's Whisper, hopefully find a Lake of the Dead for turn 3 Grave Titan. I mean, I assume that's basically, assuming we find the Lake of the Dead, I'm guessing that's pretty close to, like, our ideal draw. Interaction, card draw, finisher, 1, 2, 3, hopefully that's good. We can use Thoughtseize to take, like, a Force of Will or something that could stop the Grave Titan. So Swamp and Thoughtseize you. Oh boy. Sinkhole, Lingering Souls, Deathrite Shaman. Well, they can't cast Lingering Souls. They don't have a fetch for Deathrite Shaman. I guess we just take Sinkhole. Sinkhole seems brutal against Lake of the Dead, so we'll go with that. Looks like they're playing some sort of Abzan mid-range. Are we going to get Siege Rhino'd? Is this Legacy Siege Rhino, that deck? Bone it. Swamp. There's the Deathrite Shaman. I mean, probably less likely that we're going to get Force of Willed into Oblivion, so that's good. Alright, new plan. We're just going to kill the Deathrite. This means something like Fetch Land doesn't let our opponent just Lingering Souls, and it actually leaves our opponent with not much going on, at least from what we saw. There's the Bayou. Not him. Oh, please let us keep Night's Whisper. Alright. Well, there goes our Grave Titans. But we did get to keep our Night's Whisper to draw lands. Him? You back? Yes. Do we want to him you back? That puts Lingering Souls in the graveyard. Let's Night's Whisper. Hit our land drop. Hopefully. Alright, pass the turn. No lands. Oh, please not Sinkhole. If they didn't have Lingering Souls, we definitely would have him there. But Lingering Souls, actually they want... Okay, well, I guess we should have just done it. We're going to get our opponent empty-handed, but we're going to have to find a way to beat Lingering Souls, which we can do. But we're going to need to draw Lake of the Dead into big stuff. Like, a Wurmcoil can raise Lingering Souls pretty easily. Unfortunately, our hand's going to be super dead. We lost our 2 Grave Titans. We did not draw lands. Huh. Yeah, so these cards are going to be dead. We're going to have our opponent empty-handed, which means our discard's just not going to do anything. I guess we have a pack rat. We really need, like, Lake of the Dead Wurmcoil, or Lake of the Dead Batterskull, or Lake of the Dead Massacre Wurm. Something, that type of combination of draws is what we're looking for. Opponent passes. Well, there's a land. Well, play the land. Him our opponent. Deathrite, Urborg, down. Well, now it's a race to see if we can beat these spirits. I guess we can discard these dead cards to pack rat potentially, which isn't the worst. Opponent gets in. Down to 14. They can flashback Lingering Souls. Yup. We draw. Drain life. We'll play pack rat, pass the turn. Hopefully our opponent did not just draw removal. We gotta discard this Thoughtseize because it changes the clock. Drain life is interesting. If we draw a Lake of the Dead, it might be able to buy us a turn. Opponent getting in with most of the spirits. Yep, down to 11. There's a Thoughtseize. Well, there goes probably our Drain life. Sounds funny, but I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. Because our discard is so bad. Well, go pack rats. Yep, there goes Drain life. Opponent passes. We draw a swamp. Maybe we can Thoughtseize here? Since our opponent didn't attack, we'd go to 9. I mean, if they had a removal spell, they would have just used it, right? Like, they should have, if they have a swords, they should have just used it when we were tapped out and couldn't make a rat anyway. If they're trying to do some tricky, like, block and kill our thing, then that's just, like, a lot of unnecessary work and risk. So either our opponent's misplaying or they don't have removal. Yeah, I mean, let's attack. Discard Thoughtseize. Make a rat. We'll play the swamp. Pass the turn. Can we somehow win this race? Opponent. Ooh, gets in with everything now. Opponent might regret not attacking with everything last turn. Down to 7. Passes. Well, go attacking. Make a rat. Discard him. Oh, they do removal. They did. Alright. Well, geez, the fact that they did not attack with that rat is actually really changing our opponent's clock. Now it takes them 3 turns to kill us again with their spirits. Man, if we win because our opponent, for some reason, left back that spirit and then did not block with that spirit, that would be sweet. Wasteland. Not doing anything yet. That does cover a future Lake of the Dead. Opponent gets in with everything, down to 5. Yup. We draw Grave Titan. Well, go attacking with our rats. Overtapping. Discard Grave Titan, which we can't cast. Hit our opponent. Down to 8. Let's see what our opponent draws. Man, is there a chance we win this? We would have been dead this turn if they had just attacked with that spirit a few turns ago. Pack Rat is a good magic card. Opponent drew a swords, or they probably would definitely be dead. Jeez. Man, stealing this would be great. We can drain life X2, which could be relevant depending on how our opponent plays this turn. The fact that our opponent's at 8 means they have to block 2 rats or have, like, removal or something. Alright, let's see what our opponent does here. Gets in with 2 spirits, yep. And... Alright, down to 3. What do you got, opponent? Something? Thoughtseize. Interesting. Well, there goes our drain life. Opponent passes. Well, go attacking. See how our opponent blocks. Wow! Ah, the Mist Spirit attack! Oh, Lord Almighty. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Well, that is I mean, no offense to our opponent, because I attack poorly all the time, so definitely not trying to say it like that, but that's a great example of how a game can come down to one super seemingly insignificant thing. The one turn, like 5 turns ago, where our opponent had 4 spirits, attacked with 3 of them and left 1 back for some reason. That 1 spirit damage was the reason we won that game. If they had just attacked with all, and they didn't even block with the spirit on the backswing. So, I mean, clearly, if you're going to not attack, you should be blocking. Like, it's never correct to not attack and not block. I guess maybe there's some situation where the information changes, but it didn't. So, Yes, but that 1 point of damage actually was the entire reason. Like, our clock was just barely good enough to work because of that 1 point of damage. Oh my goodness! Alright, well, it's a win. We didn't do anything crazy, but we will take the win. Against this deck, I think that we probably want Toxic Deluge. We probably can go down like a Drain Life. Massacre Wurm seems pretty awesome. Not sure about our Edicts. They're not actually very good against Lingering Souls. I'm actually wondering if we should bring in Surgical to deal with Lingering Souls primarily. Winter Orb, probably not worth it. They got Deathrite. Null Rod, no. Pithing Needle, we could like Pithing Needle Deathrite. I mean, this isn't, I don't think, a reanimation deck. I don't really know if we want to play the discard war, though. Let's go down a couple of discard spells for a couple of Surgicals. Try it like that. I think our deck, it seems like Lingering Souls is definitely problematic. Oh, dear. That is many Lakes of the Dead and not many swamps. Oh, that's awkward. So we're looking at turn 1 Swamp, turn 2 Lake of the Dead, do nothing. I think we actually have to mulligan that. Ugh. Alright. This hand looks pretty... I mean, we can deal with early game stuff. Ugh. 1 land, though. Is this better than 5? Well, we get to scry, so we can scry... Toxic Deluge, so good. Well, we got to scry for a land. Huh, that's awkward. 2 Lakes of the Dead in the opening hand. Slightly awkward. Opponent, land go. Oh, dear. 2 of 2 Drain Lives. This is the hand that will never cast anything except for this Fatal Push and Inquisition. Oh, no. Oh, no. And they have land destruction. Oh, mono land destruction. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Not looking good, boys and girls. Not looking good. So this is just like Abzan blow up your lands? Huh. Okay. Come on, give us a land deck. Please, not a Lake of the Dead here. Land? Swamp? Alright, there's a swamp. If we keep hitting our land drops, it might be less likely that our opponent just vindicates a land. But they might have to because they're doing nothing else. Oh, they drew a sinkhole. Ugh. Oh, looking bad. Looking bad. We're going to be flawless victoried here. Night's Whisper can't cast because of that sinkhole. Oh, man. Yup. We're going to have 0 lands in play. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. There's a Wasteland. I mean, thankfully our opponent's not really killing us. Oh, they drew... Just kidding. Opponent's killing us. Well, we really got to draw a land here, I think. We probably have to Fatal Push a Spirit before we lose our mana. Please, just a swamp for this Night's... Oh, Liliana. Oh, boy. All right, pass the turn. Yeah, this has been punishing. Opponent's got a lot of land destruction. This deck could probably use Crucible of Worlds, with us sacrificing our lands anyway, and opponents helping us by destroying our lands as well. Seems like that could be a good card, at least in the sideboard, if not in the main deck. There's Lingering Souls. Here comes Vindicate on our only land. Yup. Ha! We got a lot of converted mana cost in hand. Well, now that we see just infinite land destruction, we're probably going to leave in our discard just to deal with it on turn 1. We really can't have this happening. And then we'll just have to hope we can survive Lingering Souls somehow. Opponent gets in. Down to 16. I mean, we have Massacre Wurms and stuff if we draw them. Oh, the Brutalist. The brutality. The downside of Lake of the Dead. Alright. I mean, we won't scoop. I'm very tempted to scoop, but we're not going to. You never know. We could go like swamp, swamp. Opponent has no land destruction somehow. Then we could... Uh-oh. Kaya? Okay. Yeah, we probably should be scooping here shortly. We gotta wait until we draw one more Lake of the Dead for the final rub-in. Blow up all our lands, we draw all our Lake of the Deads. Opponent gets in with the Spirits. Down to 13. Yup. Well, you know what? We're just gonna Surgical so we can look at our opponent's deck, and then we're gonna scoop. Alright, let's take a look at what's going on in this deck. Abzan, Diabolic Edicts. Opponent brought in Surgicals too. Zealous Persecution, Smallpox, couple of Kayas, couple of Lilianas, some Lingering Souls, Deathrites, Stoneforge to get Jitty. Okay. I mean, it's basically white-black smallpox that's got a little green for Deathrite Shaman, because Deathrite Shaman probably should be banned in Legacy. It's just so good. Okay. How many land destruction spells do they have? Smallpox, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 10? And then Wastelands. Are they only playing? Oh, there's the Wasteland and the Wastelands. Ugh. Alright, fair enough. So, well, that was helpful. Now we know what our opponent's doing at least. And we can kind of set up our game plan a little better. So Fatal Push is important for Deathrite. We are on the play, though. We can probably go down, like, a Fatal Push for Thoughtseize. Obliterator loses to Liliana. Inquisition for Drain Life. Pithing Needle for the Planeswalkers. Going down... Maybe we go 1 Surgical. Alright, let's try it like that. Alright, we're on the play. And alright, I mean, we got a lot of mana. We don't have a Lake of the Dead, or any discard. Swamp, you. So I guess we're hoping... Wow. And our opponent, I have no idea why, but scoops it up. Well, okay. I mean, I'm guessing our opponent... I don't know. They didn't mulligan or anything. Well, it's a win! Black Lake! We'll take it however we could get it. No complaints here. Alright, much Abrew about nothing time. Playing some Legacy this week with Black Lake. And we got him. We got Pack Rats. We got a Lake. I mean, I guess this is what we are looking for. Maybe draw something big to play with our Black Lake. Probably just like Swamp Himu. Okay. I thought our opponent was just going to... That's a Delver. Well, Drain Life. We got it covered. Sorta. Play a Swamp. Pass the turn. If Lake of the Dead would enter the battlefield, sack a Swamp instead. If you do put Lake of the Dead onto the battlefield, if you don't... Oh, there's a force. Put it onto the graveyard. Opponent ponders. So I guess we can, like, tap... Man, Wasteland is just so brutal. Brutality. Opponent gets in with the Delver. Yep. Down to 17. Opponent passes. Ooh, Deluge. Since this is going to make 2 mana anyway, I think we just Swamp and Himu. Alright, well this is fine. Opponent's going to force. Pitching Force. Oh, pitching True Name. Alright. Well, that's good. So, I mean, Hymn to Turok still did its job. It didn't make our opponent discard 2 cards at random, but 2 mana, get rid of your Force and your True Name Nemesis, that's still a pretty good deal. Here comes the Delver. We are going to have to deal with this Delver at some point. Down to 14. Opponent passes. Swamp. We don't really have anything great to sack our Swamps for. Let's just Swamp and Deluge X2. Opponent counters. Alright, there's the days. Ah, this Delver! This Delver! Making our lives miserable. Man, just like a Fatal Push would go a long way. Underground Sea is back. Opponent gets in with the Insect Die Elaboration. Down to 9. And passes. Can Grave Titan win this race? Maybe? Play Lake of the Dead, sack a Swamp. So we can play Grave Titan. Yeah, let's just play Grave Titan with Daze Protection. We already got through 1 force. If our opponent's got 2 forces, then yeah, they got 2 forces. Oh my god, they got 2 forces. Force pitching Stifle. Alright, pass the turn. Ugh. Well, if our opponent has... Oh, there's Brainstorm. Jeez. Force, Daze, Brainstorm. Ugh. If they have a Wasteland, we are in really bad shape. Ponders, digging for that Wasteland. Can they find it? If they can't find it, at least we get to try to drain... I can't believe these words are coming out of my mouth, but we get to... Oh, they found it. Alright. Now we're in really bad shape. Digging and digging and digging. We could draw a Fatal Push. That would be good. Wasteland does seem brutal against Lake of the Dead. We just 1,000,000 for 1'd ourselves. Alright, well there's a Fatal Push. which means we are unlikely to just die to this Delver. Alright, Delver down. We are at 6. Maybe, like, Land Pack Rat could do something? Opponent Brainstorms. Also, future Wastelands. Not looking good against our ugly mismatched swamps. Probably should have been white border. Misty. Opponent passes. Wurmcoil. Well, that's a minute away from doing things. Pack Rat. Pass the turn. I mean, we resolved a Grave Titan. It would be nice if we drew a land so we could start discarding to the... Oh, no. This feels like True Name Nemesis, which feels like super dead super quick. Yup. Running out of options now. Liliana. Play Pack Rat. Number 2. Yeah. If we had the mana from a Lake of the Dead, we might still be in business, but that Wasteland, that does seem like a concern with this deck. Wastelands. Opponent probes. We probably should have just scooped so they wouldn't see our hand, I guess. I think our only realistic out is, and I don't even know if this is a realistic out, but it involves Lake of the Dead, drain life to gain some life, continually drawing swamps to play big things. Down to 3. Opponent Brainstorms. Probably just looking for a lightning bolt to close out the game right away. Well, that was a lot of Force of Wills. A very high number of Force of Wills. And we didn't really draw that much discard. Deathrite Shaman. So we're dead in a million ways. Like, of the dead, it's a Grizzlebrand. Yeah, that Wasteland. Whew. Wasteland is a card. I don't know what we do about that. So we can bring in, like, I guess another Deluge? I mean, we can bring in, like, random Edicts and stuff. I don't know if that's really worth it. Although, Drain Life seems a little greedy. Might go down a couple Drain Lives. Maybe bring in a Diabolic Edict. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Maybe go in one more Edict for a... Go down one Liliana. And let's try it like that. I don't think this deck is a Winter Orb deck. Our opponent has Dazes. They don't really care much about mana. They can function pretty well with like 1 to 2 lands. So Winter Orb doesn't seem like it actually helps that much in this matchup. I think that's more for like Miracles and other like hardcore control decks. Surgical, I don't know. Probably, maybe. I think that's more like for combo-y decks. Maybe it's fine. I think we just want to draw lots of hymns. That was a little bit of a weird draw. I guess our opponent had a lot of cantrips, but we got rid of a force with a hymn, and they had another one. We might have had a chance if we hadn't taken so much Delver damage. All right, we get to play first. Okay, come on, no Wastelands. We don't have discard, but we can slam a Grave Titan pretty quick. Blue to Delta. I mean, if our opponent has force, it's bad. Can't get away from these drain lives. There's a Deathrite. Yup. Opponent passing him. Oh dear. Well, play a swamp. Pass the turn. Next turn, we could sack all of our lands to try to play a Grave Titan and get it dazed. Opponent ponders. Tap 1, play, sack, tap 4, 5. Yeah, so we can make 6 mana next turn. It would cost us both of our swamps, and yeah, and daze is a thing that could happen. Cabal Therapy. Well, good luck naming our hand, opponent. If you name Drain Life, I guess you got us. Oh my god, they chose Grave Titan. What are the chances? Who would have thought? Opponent gets in for 1 with Deathrite. Yup. Come on, good draw. It's a swamp. Well, swamp go. This is not working out the way we hoped. Maybe we should just... these Lake of the Dead are weird. Like, we could be being more aggressive with them, but it's so incredibly painful in the face of Wasteland. There's the true name. Well, we have answers for this now. We don't have them in hand, but we do have them. Opponent gets in. Are we really going to drain life a Deathrite, or attempt to? I think we are. Unless we draw a Deluge, that would be more swamps. Well, hope you don't have days. Probably never happened in Legacy before. Wow, it worked! It worked! We drain life to Deathrite! Oh, that's old school. I mean, we can slam a Grizzlebrand next turn. Our opponent did not daze that drain life, or even, like, think about dazing. Oh, they have another one. More swamps. I mean, this is what our deck came here to do. If you got an answer, you got an answer. We got all lands in hand. Yeah, they have the 4s. It's not like we can play around that anyway. Yeah, 4s, getting rid of second true name, pass the turn. So our opponent can wasteland our Lake of the Dead. Thankfully, we've drawn an infinite number of swamps, so kind of less painful than normal. We really need a Toxic Deluge. That's our big draw here to clear the board. But we need it quick, because we're taking 5 a turn thanks to this Deathrite plus True Name. So we got to get it in like the next 2 turns to really have a shot, and it has to resolve. Opponent ponders. Yeah, 4 seems good against us. we're like, yeah, we'll sack half of our mana base, cast something big, and they're like, yeah, force you. I guess Daze is even more brutal. There's a Wurmcoil. Tap. Alright, I mean, going down to just the Lake of the Dead. Man, that is all in. Lake of the Dead. Sack the swamp. Wurmcoil. Oh boy, they found another force. Okay! Yeah. Well, I guess that's how Legacy goes, honestly. It's hard to... it's hard to complain. So many decks have Force the Will. And there's not really, like, I guess we could try to wait and draw discard, but the clock is so fast that we don't really have that option in this game. Like, ideally, we would start off with some Thought Seizes or something. Maybe we should have just shipped the hand and trusted it wouldn't be enough. Ooh. We're a mana short. Oh, man, are we dead? I don't think we're just dead. We're definitely dead to Wasteland. Down to 7. 6, 5, 4, 3. We're going to drop to 2. Now, if they have a bolt, we're dead. 5, yeah. That puts us to dead. The downside is sacking our lands. Well, that did not go ideally. Alright, much Abrew time. Playing some Black Lake in Legacy. And, okay. I mean, turn 1 Inquisition. Turn 2, hope we draw something. Turn 3 Wurmcoil, hope it's enough. Ooh, it might be enough. So what do we take here? I guess Stoneforge is the potentially most problematic card. Plus, it's the only relevant card our opponent can cast. So our lake is going to get blown up, but we just hope that our opponent does not draw a Swords, and that we win with Wurmcoil. Oh boy, that's a good draw. Him, our opponent. Oh, we hit their white swords! Oh, we might have just mana screwed him. Wingmare isn't great, but our opponent has 3... We know 3 of their 4 cards. They only had 1 land in hand, the Caracas. Oh boy, the dream. We're living the dream of Lake of the Dead. Well, tap our mana, play Lake of the Dead, sack the swamp, tap our swamp, sack our swamp, Wurmcoil, and our post scoops it up. Oh, we did it. That is the Black Lake nuts. The Black Lake nut draw. We just saw it in action. Oh my goodness. Discard, turn 3 Wurmcoil, mana screw our opponent by hitting their Caracas with him. That was beautiful. Okay. Well, we want the Toxic Deluge. We want maybe just some Edict effects to keep killing creatures. What do we not want is the big question. Probably like Drain Life. Maybe Massacre Wurm is great. Gravefighting's fine. Batterskull. Obliterator's okay. Maybe we go down some Thought Seizes for Edicts, just to try to deal with creatures. We could cut the Cabal Coffers. I can't imagine that's going to be good in this matchup. Let's cut Cabal Coffers, bring an Obliterator, and try it like that. Oh boy, that was a good one. Alright, this one's a little slower, but it has potential to get explosive if we draw a Lake of the Dead. We'll keep it. Not susceptible to Wastelands. Attic our Waste. Chrome Mox. Discarding, or exiling rather. They're just gonna like Chalice on 1. Exile Stoneforge. Alright, Chalice on 1. Chalice on 1 is not great against our deck, honestly. Like, it does shut down some stuff. We're probably gonna draw 1-drop. Alright, no 1-drop. It does shut down some stuff, but it's not actually nearly as good against our deck as it is against some decks. Wasteland. There's Thalia. That slows us down a smidge. Opponent's down to 2 cards, though. We can't Fatal Push anymore. Play a Swamp. We're just doing this the old-fashioned way. Pass the turn. Well, in 2 more turns, we can try to Drain Life Thalia. Uh-oh. Alright, that's not ideal. Well, opponent's about out of action. Question's going to be, can we get down something big before we're dead? Wow, takes a Drain Life. Well, we just want to draw Lake of the Dead. If we draw Lake of the Dead here, we play Grave Titan, and Grave Titan should win us this game. Our Edicts are also somewhat live now. We can cast them through the Thalia. Fatal Push is not live. Well, pass the turn. That is one of the cards where Chalice is actually good. Bone it. Getting in. 4-6. We really need to find this Lake of the Dead. Down to 12. 2 more turns and we're dead. Land. Opponent passes. Play a Swamp. Chainer's Edict. That's actually pretty helpful. That slows the clock, and it also unlocks potentially just us casting Liliana next turn. We might be in okay shape now. I mean, it depends on our opponent's hand, but in theory, we just Liliana into Grave Titan and we're stable. Come on, no Thalias. Wingmare. That's actually bad news. Ooh, okay. Well, pass the turn. We're staying alive just barely with these Edicts. Opponent's going to go attacking. We have to Edict. We drop to 4. Come on. No flyers. No follow-ups. Oh my goodness, they drew a Thought Knot. Wow. That was some impressive running. Come on, deck. Inquisition, and we scoop it up. Wow, that was good running. Woo! Lordy. All right, we're going to bring in more to the Slaughters. Go down the Drain Lives and run it like that. Wow, we were so incredibly close. We never found our Lake of the Dead. All right, we get to play first. All right, we'll keep this. I mean, Deluge is good. We have a couple of okay finishers if we get to them. So Swamp go. Ancient Tomb to speed up our opponent's progress. And passes. Well, Swamp go. Man, we really want to land. Land would be pretty sweet. Pass the turn. Warping Whale, make an Eldrazi Scion. Okay. I think we just let our opponent cast a Thought Knot and then Edict it. Wow. Just kidding. Or our opponent has all the Ancient Tombs. The opponent's going to take Deluge no matter what. Alright, so Edict our opponent. Man, the fact that they drew another Ancient Tomb is a little sad. Takes Deluge. Well, come on, Lake of the Dead for once. Swamp go. Man, we are doing this the super hard way. If they have another Thought Knot, we're probably dead. Actually, they're probably dead too. They have 2 Ancient Tombs. Oh, they found a Plains. There's Reality Smasher. That's a lot of damage. Well, we'll see if they can answer Obliterator. Opponent gets in. If they can answer Obliterator, then we're in trouble. We draw Swamp. Play Obliterator. Pass the turn. If they can't kill Obliterator, then we're actually in pretty good shape. Opponent, more lands. Holy mother. Alright. Well, good running. Good running. Well, that spiraled hilariously out of control. And now we're drawn dead. Alright. Yup. Fair enough. Alright. Much brew about nothing time. Playing some Black Lake in Legacy. And I mean, I guess we keep. We're a Swamp away from this hand being very good. Like Thoughtseize him, Grave Titan. Pluto Delta for our opponent. Of course, that's all dependent on us drawing a Swamp. Underground Sea. And Deathrite. Yep. Opponent passes. Swamp, please. Well, play the Swamp. Thoughtseize our opponent. Opponent's got a Daze. Picks up the land. Cannot pay. Alright, pass the turn. Come on, Swamps. Swamps. Another fetch land. Cracks it. Opponent. Volcanic Island. Gonna play something. Exiles. Plays Young Pyromancer. And passes. Swamp. Well, let's Thoughtseize. All lands. Yeah, we can't play our Lake of the Dead. Jeez, this is not working out. They have double Wasteland, so we only get 1 shot. Hopefully our opponent does not draw a cantrip. If they draw a cantrip, then suddenly we just lose, essentially. Polluted Delta. Of course. Brainstorm is... Oh my goodness. It's hard to overstate how insane that draw is. It is literally Ancestral Recall here. Oh my goodness. Wow. Alright. Well, that is just a smidge unfortunate that was the top card of the deck. Opponent gets in with Pyromancer. And now I think we're just dead. Dead to the max. Yeah, I mean, we can't do anything past the turn. I don't know about this deck. We do have 26 lands. I mean, we can't do this. We have to sack our land to play it. Our payoff would be him to Turok, and then we know our opponent had 2 wastelands. They might have shuffled 1 away, but still. Like, yeah. Gets a land. Lightning Bolts makes a token. Maybe you should just never play a deck in Legacy that doesn't have Deathrite Shaman and Brainstorm. I think maybe that's the TLDR. Like, no matter what cool thing you're doing, if Brainstorm and Deathrite are in the Shaman, you're probably just, like, playing Legacy wrong if you don't have those 2 cards in your deck. Bonnet gets in for $1 billion. I mean, could you imagine if we could Brainstorm and then fetch and shuffle away, I don't know, Drain Life Grizzlebrand or something and hit lands? And then something like... the 1 Cabal Coffers. Alright, yep. Our deck hates us. Actually, I mean, yeah. We're not playing Brainstorm, and our deck hates us. Double trouble. Let's bring in Toxic Deluge. Go down. I don't even know. Does anything we do matter? Or are we just... Like, we've seen the deck do cool things on occasion. But I'm starting to feel like no matter what we do, we're just going to lose. Let's go down some Drain Lives and run it like that. Alright, we're on the play. Okay. I mean, this is the nuts. We'll see if it works. So, Swamp, we can Fatal Push our opponent's 1-drop, untap him, and then either him again or... Alright, there's Deathrite. Well, let's Fatal Push. Opponent lets it go. Either him again or just Grave Titan. Swamp, another Lake of the Dead's not the greatest. Him. Alright, opponent dazes, picks up their land. I mean, that's still fine. It probably means we have to him again next turn. Underground Sea. And Delver. Opponent passes. Well, play a Swamp. Yeah, we're going to him again. Him our opponent. Land and Spell Pierce. And then, I mean, next turn we just slam Grave Titan. We can pay for a daze. And hope it works. They don't have Force or something. No flip. Opponent getting in for 1 with Delver. Well, I mean, we got to go for it. If everything falls apart, it's a sad story, but Volcanic Island. All right, come on. No Force. 1 time, no Force. Oh, Deluge. We could just Deluge. Yeah, let's Deluge. Let's tap our Swamp, play Lake of the Dead, sack the Swamp, Deluge X1. Clear the board. And now, hopefully, this Grave Titan takes it home. Blue to Delta. Opponent passing. Oh, so much Swamp sacking. We could Liliana and pay for days. That might be better, honestly. Like, Liliana loses to a Spell Pierce, but not to daze. Grave Titan loses to daze, but not to Spell Pierce. They both lose to Force of Will. Either one should win the game if they resolve. Opponent should have more dazes than Force of Wills. Alright, Liliana. Alright, resolves. Make a zombie. Do some milling. Ooh, there's a Massacre Wurm. Alright. So we have a reanimation target. This is how we're imagining our deck working. And our opponent scoops it up, because Liliana is good enough. We used to think that you needed to activate Lake of the Dead a bunch of times, but it kind of makes sense. I do not agree with Cabal Coffers. That has been brutal, and it will never be good in the deck, and we should probably not have it. But you probably don't actually need ways to recur Lake of the Dead. Like, what I'm realizing about this deck is it's not trying to activate Lake of the Dead multiple times. That's just not really practical. So what you're trying to do is something turn 1, discard or Fatal Push, something turn 2, draw cards or him, and then on turn 3, play a 6-drop. And then if it gets wastelanded, sure, but you're hoping that the combination of discard to get rid of like Force of Will, into Hymn of Turok, hopefully, if things go well, to get rid of more cards, and then any one of Wurmcoil, Grave Titan, Massacre Wurm, even Liliana playing around Daze like we did there, like something like that takes down the game. So that's the theory. So I'm starting to understand the idea of the deck. I'm still not having much success with the deck. Although, man, a couple of those games were close. Opponent. Polluted Delta. Cracks it. This hand's reasonable, but not insane. There's Deathrite. Hopefully we can kill this. If our opponent has Daze, that's a little bad for us. Well, Swamp and Fatal Push. Do they have the Daze? Yup. Alright. Daze is to keep their Deathrite around. Well, let's see how far ahead they can get this turn. We have him over the next 2 turns. Opponent probes, takes a peek at our hand. They know the hymns are coming. Underground Sea is back. Opponent passing. Well, Swamp, him you. Flusterstorm, alright. Well, our opponent's not really making headway, but they are keeping us from mind twisting their hand. Probably just doing it again next turn, hoping that sooner or later it resolves. Polluted Delta. Cracks it. Does our opponent have like True Name or something? Looks like a 3-drop of some kind. True Name, I guess it could be Leofold? Alright, looks like True Name. Yup, there's True Name. Protection from us. Well, we do have Deluges to deal with it. Well, let's him our opponent. Force Bolt, Pithing Needle on Deathrite Shaman. And now we have to figure out a way to beat this True Name. Grave Titan would probably do it. If we just draw Lake of the Dead and resolve Grave Titan, I think that can win the race. Alright, another Deathrite just as a beater. We can drain life a Deathrite. It's not great, but it is a thing we can do. We really just want to draw Lake of the Dead here and slam Grave Titan. Or a Swamp. Hopefully we don't regret this. If our opponent like plays a Delver, that'll be sad. But it's really rough to just do nothing this turn. Gaining a little life, adding some time to the clock. So many Deathrites. Well, at least we get a Pithing Needle, so they're not killing us the traditional way. Come on, Lake of the Dead! Lake of the Dead for this Grave Titan before it's too late. Or Toxic Deluge. Either or. Lake of the Dead? Ooh, man. Is this the time when Cabal Coffers works? It is! Wow! Ah! No! Their last card was a Daze! No! Oh my god! Oh my god. Well, maybe we should have kept waiting. I think we gotta go for it there, though. The problem is, we're gonna lose the race even with a... Yeah. Jeez. Toxic Deluge? Oh boy, deck. Oh no. Oh my god. Now it's Toxic Deluge or Bust, I believe? I guess Wurmcoil. Well, Wurmcoil, no, doesn't really do it. Yeah? We need a Deluge this turn. Oh, that counts. That is basically a Deluge. Well, we can pay for every Daze in our opponent's deck. Please? Please no Force, Counterspell. Resolves. Oh my god! We top decked it! We're at 4, so we're not in bolt range? Cabal Coffers! We actually made Cabal Coffers good. This is the first game ever. I mean, we're not guaranteed to win, but that was a draw. Polluted Delta. Opponent. Gurmag Angler. Alright. Come on, another big draw. One of our big... Uh-oh. And a Delver? Oh no! Oh no! Come on, Dak. Give us something. Please. Oh no, Dak. We're running out of time. Running out of time. Pass the turn. Delver. Doesn't flip. Opponent cracks. Shuffles away. Drain Life? A Drain Life would actually be good now also for the first time ever. Grim Lavamancer. Oh dear. Our second Massacre Wurm would be sweet. Come on, Dak. Come on, give us something. Well, this is risky. But we don't have a choice. We're dropping to 2. Knight's Whisper. off of our Cabal Coffers mana. Come on, good draws. Good draws. And that doesn't do it. We can play Wurmcoil, but we're dead to Lavamancer. Wow. Alright. Alright. Oh, that daze. Alright. Much Abrew about nothing time. Black Lake in Legacy. And this hand does not much. Yeah, we're gonna mulligan. We can play a bunch of 0 mana stuff, but it doesn't seem like it wins the game. We just need swamps. We have Thoughtseize. If we can draw a swamp, Thoughtseize him, Grave Titan. Oh boy. Here comes the Eldrazi. Well, let's Thoughtseize. We're gonna get Reality Smasher next turn. Actually, we're not. But we are the turn after that. Well, I guess we gotta take Reality Smasher. Pass the turn. Come on, swamp. Swamp, swamp, swamp. Ancient Tomb. Opponent getting in for 2. So if we draw a swamp, I guess they can counter the him, but that still gets us to Grave Titan next turn. Opponent passes. Oh, deck. Oh, this is the problem with this deck that we found. Like, what do we do here? Instead of one of our 20-something swamps, we draw one of our 3 Lake of the Deads. It's brutal. So the problem is, like, sure, we can play the Lake of the Dead, sack our swamp, but then even if we draw a swamp next turn, we only have 5 mana, and our opponent we know is going to be able to Reality Smasher. So they're going to hit us for 10, and then we're just dead on board. So I think, man, this, we know they have Warping Whale too. Well, I mean, I think this is our only out. I don't think this is going to work, but him our opponent. We just got to hope that they don't use Warping Whale. And they do. And yeah, now we're straight up dead. Oh, this deck, it is maddeningly inconsistent. It does really fun things once in a while, but good lord, does it have some just absolutely brutal draws. Yeah, here they come. Smasher. And now Swamp isn't good enough. I guess we can Swamp, sack Swamp. Ugh, this is not a long-term game plan, though. I mean, we don't have a choice. Swamp, sack Swamp. Drain Life, Mimic. And then I think we're just out of draws, though. Like, that's the only play that keeps us alive for a turn, potentially. So we're dropping to 2 if our opponent attacks, which they will. But they're making sure they see all the angles. Yeah, down to 2. Maybe. Oh, come on, opponent. You got us, Super Dad. Please just kill us. Okay. They figured it out. That was a pretty obvious line, but they got there. Okay. So we can bring in Obliterator, bring in our Edict effects, bring in Deluge, go down Drain Life, go down Massacre Wurms, go down Inquisitions. Hey, maybe we keep 1 Drain Life. Alright. Try it like that. Alright. We're on the play. Come on, Black Lake. One last chance to be awesome. Okay. I mean, okay. Probably something like turn 2 Edict, turn 3 Obliterator, or maybe something better. If our opponent doesn't do anything, there's Eye of Ugin. Well, then I guess we just... Ooh, Pack Rat. Yeah, let's just Night's Whisper. Grizzlebrand's can't quite cast that next turn. So we have 6 mana if we sack everything. Endless One, X4. Oh, there's Grave Titan. Alright, that's what we were looking for. So tap our land, play Lake of the Dead, sack a swamp. Sack a swamp. Hopefully we draw more swamps. Play Grave Titan. And hope the Grave Titan gets it done. Or that we draw more swamps to play more things. Well, that was it. We did our thing. Let's see if it's good enough to get the job done. Oh boy, Wasteland. Ugh. Brutal. Come on, no creatures. Matter Reshaper. Opponent. Passing. Not a swamp. So we can't... Oh, this deck. I mean, let's attack, make some zombies. Opponent can block. Yup. They get a free spin off Matter Reshaper. We kill the 4/4. Opponent. Yes. Eye of Ugin. That is probably the worst thing our opponent could hit. Pass the turn. The downside of where we're at is we are roughly an infinite ways away from doing anything. We have to draw 2 swamps to really do anything. Reality Smasher. Okay. We do have zombie defense. Opponent. No attacks. Well, there's a swamp. Swamp go. Well, we drew swamp 1. So I guess next turn we can edict and then hope we draw more swamps. Man, this deck can make so much mana. And they're not sacking their lands to do it. Cavern on Ape. Going for the troll factor since they're pretty confident we don't have counters. Opponent passes. Well, tap the swamp, play Lake of the Dead, sack the swamp, and just Chainer's Edict. And we're going to go attacking. I mean, if they have some hasty threat, great. But down to 12. Maybe this Grave Titan will end up being enough after all. Mimic, okay. Man, we'd love to draw a swamp. That would go a long way. I don't even think we sack the swamp immediately. I think we probably just Edict again. Caracas. Come on, no more creatures. We can attack into Mimic. That's not a swamp. Well, go attacking. We got to keep the pressure on because sooner or later our opponent's going to start to Eye of Ugin. I guess they're still a ways away because Temple doesn't actually add mana for it. Hit our opponent to 6, pass the turn. Oh, come on, no creature. No creature. No creature. Oh, we got there. Okay. Grave Titan, good enough, just barely. Oh, wow. All right, run it back, run it back. Come on, Black Lake, you can do it. You can do it. Okay. I mean, we have a hymn. We have a Lake of the Dead. We need a finisher. That's where we're at. Finisher, and we're suddenly pretty much where we want to be. We got the swamps. We got the lake. We can kill... I guess our opponent's thinking we might be reanimating, which, I mean, I guess Liliana... Oh, another hymn. Good God. Man, maybe we Lake of the Dead, sack the swamp, double hymn next turn. If we can kill something here. Matter Reshaper. Yeah, I think we're going to do it. Oh, there's a Wurmcoil. All right, on second thought, let's just swamp, him our opponent, Reality Smasher, and bring her down. Now we get to untap Wurmcoil, City of Traders. Opponent's last card, Endless One, X6. Well, that dies to Fatal Push, and we have Wurmcoil. Here comes Matter Reshaper. Wow, I think we're getting a win. I think we're doing it. Down to 17. Ooh, Drain Life. It's a combo. Man, hopefully they don't draw Wasteland. So tap our swamp, play Lake of the Dead, sack the swamp, tap our swamp, sack our swamp, Wurmcoil Engine. Pass the turn. Come on, Wurmcoil. Opponent, something else big. Another Endless One. Yup. Opponent, passing. More Lakes of the Dead. We'll play a swamp, attack with Wurmcoil. Let's see how our opponent blocks. If they block with everything, we sweep the board. If they block with just, wow, they just take it? Okay, that's a little bit surprising. Well, pass the turn. We can Fatal Push an Endless One. Opponent, big attack. Well, Fatal Push. Take our beats. Could this actually be a Drain Life game? Thoughtseize. Well, get in with Wurmcoil. Opponent's down to 8. Play the swamp. Him our opponent. Pass the turn. Oh man, how much can we... 4? Opponent's got a Thought Knot. Okay. Well, there goes our Drain Life. Yup. Come on, something big. Something big, something big. Opponent. No attacks. Well, play Grave Titan. That's something big. Do we get in with Wurmcoil? I think we don't yet. Actually, do we? We trade with Matter Reshaper and Endless One? I think we just pass. Opponent. No attacks. Well, Thoughtseize our opponent. Cavern. Well, let's go attacking. Our opponent can... Oh, man. That might have been wrong. I think we should have waited... Yeah, we probably should have waited with the Thoughtseize until after these blocks. Opponent blocks. They can only kill one of our 6-drops, though. It makes some amount of sense, I guess, to go early just to make sure there's not some weird removal spell, a Dismember or something that could be a blowout. Opponent blocks. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we definitely should have waited until after Matter Reshaper died to take a look at our opponent's hand. Well, should we have? I don't know. It's close. I think we probably should have. I'm pretty sure we do not get Wurmcoil triggers because of this Leyline of the Void. Alright, block blocks. Kill stuff. We draw a card. Our opponent gets a Matter Reshaper card. We draw Obliterator. Opponent gets Ancient Tomb. And I think we might be getting there. Opponent needs something pretty spectacular. And we got there! Alright, Black Lake taking down the win. Oh, man. Oh, this deck. Oh, it's kind of competitive. I mean, for $500 in Legacy, I don't think we can complain too much. We ended up 2-3, which could have been better. Little sad we lost to that other Eldrazi deck. Their draw in Game 3 was just absurd. With turn 2 Thought Knot, turn 3 Reality Smasher, turn 4 Angel of Sanctions. So we were close to going 3-2. We definitely have some ultra clunk draws and lose to Force of Will hard sometimes and get blown out by Wasteland. But we also do some really powerful things sometimes. Sweet. So what do we learn this week about Black Lake in Legacy? And wow, good news, bad news situation. So overall, our league, we finished 2-3, which, is reasonable, not great, but we didn't just go 0-5 or anything like that. So we competed a bit. I will say the deck, it is super risky. It felt like some of the games we did literal nothing, either because we played against heavy counterspell decks, like the first Delver matchup, oh my god, was that miserable. They just countered every single thing we did. Tapping 6 mana, sacking 2 lands to play Grave Titan only to get it dazed is the most brutal thing that can happen in a game of Magic. So that was a little bit problematic. We also just have some weird clunkiness on our end. We had games where we draw 1 swamp, Lake of the Dead, Cabal Coffers, and we're like, oh my goodness, please deck. So there is some clunkiness. We did do some really good things though, and we kind of learned about the deck to some extent. Some of the stuff that was concerning in the deck tech, what do you do about Wasteland? The answer is you're not trying to activate Lake of the Dead a whole bunch of times. When I was looking at this deck at first, I was like, all right, so we're gonna keep sacking swamps, keep playing these big things. We're using Lake of Dead like a ritual, essentially. It's going to get wastelanded, it's going to get killed. We're expecting that to happen in a lot of matchups, and we don't have enough swamps that we can keep activating it anyway. So what we're really looking to do is Thoughtseize Inquisition on turn 1, Himyu on turn 2, turn 3, Lake of the Dead, sack a swamp, sack another swamp, play Grave Titan, a Wurmcoil, a Massacre Wurm, and hope that curve is good enough to win the game. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It's definitely much better when we have the discard to go with it to get rid of the Force of Wills and the Dazes, which are really brutal. I think we got maybe, a little unlucky, or at least very much nut drawn against the Eldrazi Taxes deck. We fought a close 3-game match against that one, and their game 3 hand was pretty absurd. It was turn 2 Thought Knot, turn 3 Reality Smasher, turn 3 Angel of Sanctions, your blocker, which I didn't even know that was a thing that happens in Legacy with Angel of Sanctions, but it definitely happened to us, and it got us really good. So I feel like some of those matchups, we have the power to just go head-to-head with decks like Colorless Eldrazi, which we ended up beating, Eldrazi and Taxes. So I feel like we were super close to getting one more win out of this. That doesn't solve the problems, though. We played Grixis Delver twice. We beat them 1 game out of the 5 games we played against them, and that feels like a really hard matchup. They just have so much disruption, wastelands for our Lake of the Dead, and oh boy. So as far as competing in the broader meta and being a tier deck, I don't know if I'd be comfortable saying that about Lake of the Dead. We definitely had clunkiness. Cabal Coffers probably shouldn't be in the deck. I think the deck could definitely be brewed and improved, but it was definitely competitive enough if you're looking to get into Legacy on a budget. And the other nice thing about this deck is a lot of the expensive cards, like Thoughtseize, Liliana Death's Majesty, Grave Titan, Grizzlebrands, Wurmcoils, Inquisitions, Batter Skulls. They're cards that you probably already have or potentially have if you have a decent sized modern or standard collection. Even the expensive sideboard stuff like Surgical Extractions, kind of the same way. So you're not running into too many reserve list issues outside of Lake of the Dead itself. So it is a very good, I think, starter deck. And I'm sure I probably didn't do it justice. Legacy is a really hard format to play once every couple of months because it's so powerful. The decks are so in depth. There's so much going on that I'm sure if you practice it and played this deck over and over and over, you probably could have picked up a few more percentage points here or there just by knowing the deck really well, knowing when to play around days, when you have to slam your thing into the days and just hope you get lucky. So there's definitely ways you can up that percentage a little bit, but overall, I think that's where I come down on Black Lake. I don't think this is going to win the next Legacy GP. It's a little too inconsistent. It scoops kind of hard to Force of Will, not in the sense of like a Belcher or something where you literally just can't beat it. We do have discard, we do have Thought Seizes, but we don't draw those cards every hand, so we're still kind of soft to some extent to the hardcore disruption counterspell stuff. So I feel like the deck a little too inconsistent to be tier 1 or win huge tournaments, but definitely powerful enough to be a really good budget option. So if you got a bunch of these cards laying around already from Modern, from Standard, from Commander, and are interested in taking Legacy out for a spin, I think it's a fine starter option to brew with. As far as changes, not a whole lot. I don't really believe in the Drain Lives. I think having maybe real removal there would be better. I'm still interested in Crucible of Worlds as a one-of to minimize the downside of sacking our own lands, so that's something to consider. Once we go to the Crucible of Worlds plan, maybe we go as far as to start like small poxing and kind of being that style of deck, but that would really change the deck a lot. That might be too much. Cabal Coffers has got to go, so I think those are kind of the small changes that you could do, but for the most part, the plan of just slamming a 6-drop on turn 3, it seemed like it has potential to work, especially when you have a good hand to back that up with discard on turn 1 and 2 to try to get rid of those counter spells. So I don't think you need a huge overhaul to play this as your first Legacy deck, your intro to Legacy deck. Just those small changes, the Drain Life, the Cabal Coffers, maybe add in a Crucible of Worlds, some more removal, maybe some more discard. Discard seems really, really important, or just maybe more card draw. Maybe go up to the full 4 copies of Night's Whisper, for example, to try to find the discard more consistently. So I think with some small tweaks like that, the deck actually could be like fairly reasonable. Again, you're not going to win a GP with it, I don't think, but I think you can play it for cheap, have some fun at Legacy tournaments, get some wins here and there, do some cool things, slap some Grave Titans. So anyway, that's been Black Lake for Legacy, and that's our Much Abrew deck for this week. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.